Today, or tonight, I'm going to dwell upon the theme of comparative mythology mostly, but some other theme, maybe I'll talk on some other themes. But I want to begin with the song which I wrote about the woman who invented the language, 45,000 years ago. In special terminology, it's said 45 kilo years ago. 1,000 years is kilo years. She was born in the Jordan River Valley 45 kilo years ago. A woman who invented the language. How she did it, I will try to show. She was abducted from her people by the two Neanderthal rocks who raped her, but she came to escape in the morning in a heavy fog. When she returned to her husband, he didn't show no sign of joy, especially when 9 months later she gave birth to a Metis boy who didn't look like his stepfather because he had a Neanderthal genes for the dopamine receptor with 7 base repeats like Donald Trump. Sarah was the name of that woman. Nara was the name of her son. Connor was the name of her husband, and his symbol was the yellow sun. Connor hated the boy so much that he tried to kill him, but the little boy escaped. And together with his clever mother, they survived in no man's land. 10 years later, they came back to the people, and Nara killed his stepfather in a fair fight. And that's how the Oedipus myth arose and spread to the cultures worldwide. But the rest of this interesting story I won't tell without a pay, for I wrote a book upon the subject. I want it be published someday. So this is a song. Well, the quality of the accompaniment doesn't matter. For some reasons I couldn't provide it well. But now I want to explain what this song is about. I tried to reconstruct the proto-human language by comparison of various languages from very differing linguistic megafamilies like Swahili, Malayan, Estonian, and so on. I found, for instance, that there is a direct coincidence between Estonian and Malayan in the word suku, the kin. And in meaning and phonetic form, these etymons coincide, despite the ancestors of these languages diverged about 20,000 years ago. But doing this work, I came to a conclusion that this language was invented by a single person, by a woman who lived in the Jordan River Valley 45,000 years ago. And she was, as I sing in this song, she was abducted from her people by two Neanderthals who raped her, but later she escaped. And so she gave birth to a Metis boy who was hated by his father. Now, in the song, I sing that this boy his name was Nara. Now, I come to show the illustrations. So these are my notebooks in which all the material I need for this lecture is recorded. But first I have to find the notebook number 15. Here there is evidence that this boy that this boy's name was Nara. And Nara, it's noted here, page 35. Here is the evidence, the proof. For instance, in Mongolian, the sun is Naran. In Nostratic languages, some 12,000 years ago, fire burn will be Nyara. In Arabian, Nuri is the light. For instance, one of the provinces in Afghanistan is called Nuristan. Before it was called Kafiristan, the land of infidels. And then when they were converted to Islam, the land became to be called Nuristan. And in Bushman languages, in the languages of the Khoisan people of the South Africa, of the Kalahari Desert, there is a word, ngar, or ngaro, which means sky, cloud. But as well, or for instance, in the northern group of these Bushmen, Zuk Huansi, red sky at dawn or sunset is called ngau or ngaun. But in the southern group of these people, in the southern group of the Bushmen, ngau means hair. Hair. I mean, that animal that resembles a rabbit. It's not human hair, but hair as an animal. So this is the only case when the word Nara both means the sun and the hair. But there is a worldwide motive in ancient myths or in tales that originally the horned animal was hare, and so only later the stag became the horned animals. And this myth is spread all around the globe where hares are present. For instance, there are no hares in Oceania, or there are no hares in South America, so these regions must be excluded from the consideration. So, my hypothesis, I'll tell it straight away. The other universal motive is Oedipus complex, of which is sung about in this song. So the son kills the father. How come that in 15 different languages this motive is present? What is the basis for it? Is it an archetype? Well, when I hear the word archetype, I want to draw my revolver, actually, as the Hebel said about something. Well, my explanation is that this killing of the father happened in reality. It happened in real life 45 years ago, when this woman was raped by Neanderthals and gave birth to a Metis boy. Why Metis boy? Because the gene for the dopamine receptor, DRD4, or the novelty-seeking gene, was introgressed into human genome from Neanderthals. And in one article in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, it is noted that it happened 45 years ago. So these data coincide together. The language was invented at that time. There was the cultural explosion of the progressive industrial replacing the Neanderthal Levallois industry. So everything coincides. So I propose that the language was composed by a single woman whose Metis son killed his stepfather. Well, of course, I could provide the evidence that this stepfather was called Kona. It's quite easy. For instance, in Thor Heyerdahl, his raft was called Kontiki. In all Altaian languages, or at least in Turkish, Kon is the sun. So, well, what?
The sun?
The sun, which is in the sky. So the conception is, my reconstruction is that there were in the myth two suns. One is a red sun, which can be observed with the naked eye. It's a weak sun. It's a small sun. It's the sun of the morning. And his father is the stag with the horns. And horns is his light and his penis as well, by the way. Okay, and for some reasons, Nara climbed to the sky and killed his father and took his horns, but they were too heavy. And by the end of the day, he came to the west edge of the globe and had to dive under the globe to get the under earth fire from the masters of the underworld. In Polynesian myths, this master of the night is called Hinanui Tepo, and the hero who tried to steal the fire from her is called, of course, Maui. But Maui is not a hare. It's not an animal, hare. Why? Because in Polynesia there are no hares. So I guess that symbol was the hare with the soft ears which resemble the horns. And so since in the reality he killed his father, this woman projected her fears, her hatred, her distress on the celestial objects. What happened in her family life, she placed in the sky. She placed in the sky. And as I said, the motive of the horned hare is universal in mythology, and everyone can check it on from the database of Yuri Evgenievich Berezkin, which is in Russian, of course, but this is the best database on comparative mythology, and some people somehow get it in English too. Actually, Berezkin collected it written half in English, and then he translated it into Russian, making it impossible for the English people to read. Okay, and now I come to the second thesis. Why this hero was hare? Why Maui originally, 45 years ago in the human culture, was hare? Here we come to the Baiga myth. Baiga is a people from the central India, the small Adivasi people of India. And they have a myth or a tale that hare lived with a girl. And she insulted that girl. He lived with her in a jungle. And so she squeezed her thighs and killed him. He cried, "Don't kill him," but she squeezed him and killed him. That's exactly what happened to Maui, because when Hinanui Tepo was awakened, when he stole her fire, she squeezed, so she crushed him exactly like in the Baiga myth. But in Baiga myth, the hero is hare, and in Maori myth, Maui is not hare, because in Polynesia there are no hares. But my idea is that in the mind of this woman who created this mythology, her son, his symbol was hare. And or rabbit, where there are no hairs, there are rabbits. By the way, in some of the North American myths, there is a variant when originally the hare and the elk were competing, were in a battle, who would have hair. And so the elk won this battle and became a herd animals, and the hare became small. So that's it for mythology. So I tried to explain the song which I originally sang. Now I think that I must change the subject and tell, if I still have time, about a completely different theme. This theme is not about mythology, but about paleoclimatology.
Well, let's make it second one.
Yeah. Окей. Сколько там было минут?